Welcome back to Grit Factor, where we lean into the stories that make us, the real ones. The stories that test our strength, growth, and grit. Today's guest is a woman who has worn the crown, walked through fire, and still stands strong. Matapa Maila is a 4-time graduate, an MBA holder, a corporate executive in procurement, chairperson of Mrs. South Africa, a philanthropist, and of course, proud mom. She is also a former Mrs. South Africa 2019 and Mrs. World first runner-up. Beyond the accolades, she is a woman who has rebuilt after divorce, after pressure, and being misunderstood. She's come back stronger, bolder, and in full color. Matapa, welcome to the Grit Factor.
Such an honor to be here.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time out to share your story. And I think we're going to jump right into it. You hold all of these amazing accolades and achievements that you have accomplished. I'd like to know, where did it all start? What was it always like this for you? Did you always think, one day when I grow up, I'm going to have an MBA, I'm going to be this boss lady queen? Or was it a bit different?
I think let's trace it back quite a while back. I grew up in the village. So limited exposure. MBA was not even anything I could have ever dreamed of because the normal professions were being a policeman or woman and as a teacher. However, one thing I've always known was that poverty was not the end of it for me. It was my circumstances at the time. So it was just a matter of how do I navigate myself out of this? And one thing I knew for sure was education for me was what was going to afford me the fluidity and the flexibility to navigate life in my own terms. Growing up in the villages, you don't have enough scaffolding to dream outside the norm. There's nothing to lean onto or to hold on to. And the quickest win for me was I need to focus on books, and that is going to be my get out of jail free card.
Wow, that's incredible. What does your position in corporate require of you from a leadership perspective, and what are your thoughts on what good leadership should be?
I think it's important to realize that you can never lead in a vacuum. No matter how much you think you know, there'll always be somebody who has something you don't have. So it's very important to access the thinking of your team, both those you report to and those that report into you. That's number one. And also there's many dynamics that you need to navigate in corporate. Ageism is one of them.
Wow.
Because you find somebody who's been in the business 40 years and you only in the business for 10 years or so, and therefore you can't bring anything online onto the table.
Wow.
So you also need to be comfortable and content with the strength that you bring to the table. And I think what's important, especially being a female in a hardcore industry, is you need to teach people to see a leader before they see the female.
That's good.
So it's tricky as well because corporate environment almost does not allow one to be feminine. Wow. You need to be bold. You need to be courageous. You need to be almost impersonal. You need to be blank. You must be emotionless.
Wow.
And I think when I was younger, I was a bit fearful to allow my femininity to shine through. But with age, with time, with experience, I'm much more comfortable in being a female leader because it gives me a certain advantage. I can be empathetic. I can be relatable. I can be approachable. So only now later in my career, I'm starting to celebrate those qualities about being a female leader.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is very powerful because I think we underestimate, what it means to be a woman in a space where men are dominating and you need to show up. And I think a lot of the times women feel like, and to your point, women feel like they need to show up as a man would show up.
Correct.
Where, to your point, there are so many different qualities that we possess that will give us an edge over our male counterparts. So that's great. I love that. I want to jump into a great topic, pageantry. Really want you just to share your story. You were a judge in my year, and it was absolutely an amazing experience for me, life transforming. And I'm just so grateful for just the opportunity to do what I do now and have the platform and use my voice because of what I've been through. And so I want to hear your story, your journey. If you can maybe just tell us where it all started and where you are today and how you now move forward in the world with what you've done.
I want to call it as an empowerment platform more than pageantry, because I think I've been privileged to have done a pageant before. I did Mrs. South Africa, and it's chalk and cheese.
Wow.
At Mrs. South Africa, we champion women empowerment, transformation, because we also appreciate that not everybody's going to walk away with a crown. But we all wear our invisible crowns. We all have our different strength and our different part. And if the platform can connect you to your destination or your next phase of life, then we have done our part. Sure. And I also think it's such a home for all women from all walks of life. It's not stereotypical. We don't box people. We don't expect people to fit a certain mold. And I think for me, that is what was life-changing about Mrs. South Africa. And after my year of reign, that's when I realized I'm not ready to walk away from this. Wow. It has become such an imprint in my DNA that I couldn't even imagine life without it, not just for myself, but to send the elevator down and to be intentional about it, to be part of the future of Mrs. South Africa. And that's when I decided, you know what, the opportunity presented itself and it was the perfect timing. I wanted to be part of Mrs. SA and I bought into the business because it's my way of giving back. It's my way of sending the elevator down and saying to other women, come and experience what I've experienced, the breakthroughs that I experienced, the formidable partnerships that are formed out of Mrs. South Africa. And I honestly think even for my corporate career, Mrs. South Africa has propelled that progress. Wow. Because there's certain life skills that you take out of the platform like Mrs. South Africa. Absolutely. Stakeholder management, public speaking, thinking on your feet, entrepreneurial skills. And that's unparalleled. You know, you give the corporate environment an added value, an added proposition that maybe somebody who's competing for the same role with you has not been exposed to. So Mrs. South Africa for me has been absolutely life-changing. And I'll be doing a disservice if I don't give Joni Jacobs a shout out. That woman stuck with me through the highs and lows because towards the latter part of my reign, I was already in separation. And obviously I went to her to say, I don't think I'm worthy of the crown anymore. But she supported me through it because it's Matapa who brought the crown home. It was not, yes, obviously you need to be married, but the dissolving of my marriage was not the end of my dream. Awesome. And she held that torch for me. And to you, Joni, the love you have for women, it's unparalleled. And there was no way I couldn't be part of that. Wow. Yeah.
That's amazing. So did you feel like people were looking at you in a different light when you experienced that separation and when you went through that tough period of getting divorced? Do you feel like people treated you differently? Or do you think that you just thought maybe perhaps people were different towards you? Whereas there was maybe a bunch of people that were maybe supporting you. What was the feedback like from people that were watching, from the public?
I think it's also important to highlight that nobody gets married to get divorced. Absolutely. You're not in the church chapel with a lawyer, a divorce lawyer outside. But life throws it curveballs and you need to respond accordingly. Sure. But the sad part about being in the public eye, even to the smallest degree, is that you are not allowed to grieve in private. Your wins are public and so are your failures. And that was the hardest part of it all because the public jury was out. And unfortunately, people can be so judgmental and unforgiving on things they don't know. So it was a licorice of all sorts, I must say. You are dealing with your own healing, your own emotions, your own acceptance of where life has led. And also there's so much noise in the system of people's opinions and views and judgment. And there's also responsibilities because life doesn't stop when the divorce comes through. But my first priority was my daughter because unfortunately the subset of a divorce is the impact on the kids. And I needed to make sure that she's safeguarded because many are times where you can be so consumed by your own pain that you forget that it's not just about you. So I needed to be kind with myself and also reflect on my own emotional limits. I knew I had my own limitations and I needed to be selfish about my healing period. It's very important sometimes to hibernate when things are not going okay or when a big thing is about to come online. You need to hold a safe space for yourself. Because if you bet on yourself, trust me, that heat will never miss. People go on with their lives. Yes, they'll come and say, oh, we're so sorry. And then the next day they're back to their normal routine. So I also think it's not fair to place that burden on people being there for you. You need to re-navigate now.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah, and you need to unhinge everything that you ever believed this person represented in your life and literally start from scratch and re-self-actualize. And that takes a lot of grit. I'll keep referring to this because it's so relevant.
Yes.
And I had to go through that, Erin, and show up for my child, show up for myself, be kind, be forgiving to myself, and unlearn to relearn and create a safe space for myself to not give up on certain things. Even though it made me suspect of love, it reframed my trust on love, on marriage, on unity, and what it stood for, and everything that I subscribed to growing up. But I thank God for restoration. I'm in a better place now. I do believe in love, guys. I do believe in marriage.
That's awesome.
It's a beautiful union, and you should not let one bad experience be the determining factor for the rest of your life. So I'm in a better place now.
I love that so much. Like you said, everyone else is going on with their lives, but here you are. People are not like, although they are supportive, they're not going to sit around and wait for you to now find out what's the next step.
Correct.
It's literally you picking yourself up and getting back up and then going forward and seeing what that looks like.
Absolutely.
And I commend you for that, because that is so tough, but I can't even imagine it. But I do know that as you stand in your position and who you are and what you do and accomplish on a daily basis, you can see the work that you've put in, and the grace that you move in now is a clear reflection on what you've been through and how you've overcome. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Erin. I also think it's important to pace yourself. I think the world can put so much pressure on you to snap back, to be okay the following day. And it takes time to rebuild. I mean, I had to downgrade my lifestyle. That's a fact. I moved from being a household that had 2 incomes to now 1 income. So certain things needed to change. The place I lived, the car I drove, the restaurants I went to, and that's a reality that comes with it, that sometimes people want to airbrush out. There's no quick win. You need to be prepared to build from ground up. And it's hard. And people can, again, be so judgmental. You used to drive this car. Oh, now you drive. And they will let you know that they can see that things have changed. But you need to choose yourself. You need to choose your peace, because these things don't make you.
Yes.
And that is one of the things that, unfortunately, divorce brings, is the reality of divorce. But again, I chose my peace. I think those things didn't make me or break me. I needed to choose my peace, and I needed to give my daughter a fair chance of what love looks like. And the place I was in was no longer serving that purpose.
That's awesome. Okay, so I want to just move and pivot a little bit to your philanthropy work and your foundation called Matapa and Friends. I think the first time I heard about it was when you spoke at the breakfast in our year. It was last year at the breakfast. You spoke, you did your speech, and you addressed everybody. It was such a powerful speech, and I was like, who is she's so amazing. What is she saying? And you just really like encourage and you exuded the strength and this fire. And you spoke about Matapa and Friends, and you dealt with the fact that you are from a rural village and the reasons why you now move in these spaces and want to empower women. Talk to us a little bit more about your foundation and what that means to you.
I think, Erin, there's nothing more painful than missing school because you're on your periods and you don't have sanitary towels. Something as simple as that. Period poverty is a reality, guys. I think sometimes living in certain circles that we live in, we sometimes lose sight of reality. And in many, not even only the rural areas, even in townships in South Africa, the socioeconomic ills are such that girls have to miss school because they cannot afford a sanitary towel. So that is something very close to my heart because I missed school. I was once that girl who missed school, and I thank God I'm such a self-starter. I still passed. I never failed a grade, but that's not the reality for everyone else. So this is very personal for me because also period poverty can lead not only to miseducation, but also vulnerability and exploitation. Those girls become easy target for somebody to exploit them in exchange of, and Matapa and Friends. And also why I said Matapa and Friends is because it's not just something I'm doing, but it's an invitation, a continuous open invitation to somebody to jump on board and let's make a little difference. And the impact is impeccable. It's phenomenal because you will find letters and stories to say, I've never met you, but you used to donate this to our school. I just wanted to say thank you very much. And you've given somebody a lifeline with something that is, you won't even feel it when you are buying those 2 extra packs of sanitary towels. But then obviously the intent is to address the basics so that we can move on to the next phase of maybe a bursary. And that is what, again, Mrs. South Africa comes online for. So the end goal is not just to do sanitary towels. The end goal is to see kids through school, is to build libraries, is to make small dreams come true, like matric dance, something I also did not have. And I also donate matric dance dresses, you know. So yeah, it's an invitation, again, open invitation. If you want to join hands, please come on board.
Absolutely.
And let's make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think of the work that I do with the foundation and the work that they have done over multiple years. And it's giving somebody an opportunity to step into something greater. And those kinds of things hold the kids back, because whether it's food, not having a meal in the morning or at lunchtime and having your only meal when you go to bed, whatever the case may be, school shoes, you don't have uniform, you don't have the proper stationery, all those kinds of things. And
they add up.
Yeah, they add up. And I think it's one of my mentors, Dr. Maxwell Holland, always speaks about the fact that poverty for a rich person is sort of, it's about materialistic things. So it's, I don't have a car, I don't have food on my table, I don't have this. But for a poor person, it's psychological. It affects you to the core, where you feel shameful because of the position that you find yourself in. So it's very different. And I think that if we can, restore the dignity back with our children and the kids in the community, and even just the adults and just our family in the communities.
Agreed.
It's a huge win. I know someone gave me an opportunity when I was growing up. And so that's why I love your foundation. And obviously what I always try and do, whether it's with my business or whatever the case may be, is to then say, how can I make opportunities available for others?
Absolutely.
Because somebody did it for me. If someone hadn't done that for me, I wouldn't be where I am today. No matter how small the action was or the contribution was, but it made such a huge difference.
We need to stand in the gap for each other.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is do quick rapid questions with you.
Okay.
Rapid fire. That's okay.
All right, let's go for it.
Let's do it. Let me find it quickly. Okay, so the first one is a quote or mantra you live by.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes, ma'am.
If it's meant for me, it'll never miss me.
Oh,
For I know the plans I have for you. Okay, I'll stop there.
I love that. Okay, next one. A book that changed your mindset.
Wow. This book was recommended by my CEO, Andrew Luotz. It's called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It basically teaches us how to interact with money, the intellectual relationship one needs to have with money. At some point in your life, you're going to lose money and your heart can't stop.
Sure.
And so how to rise above that, and just your relationship with money is a phenomenal book.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I've heard about it. I need to get.
I'll gift you with
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the next one is a non-negotiable daily habit.
Prayer, gratitude, and just setting the temperature in the room for the day ahead. Yeah.
Awesome. And then what does living in color mean to you?
I think now that I'm a bit matured, I'm not so preoccupied with what can go wrong.
Okay.
Because sometimes it can thief you of the opportunities of the day. So I think living in color for me looks like this. I imagine jumping out of a skyscraper and building the parachute on my way down.
Oh,
I think that's great on another level.
I love that.
Right?
Okay, and then your last one. What does grit mean to you in one sentence?
Courage, forgiveness, boldness. Just do it.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. Thank you. That's it. Wasn't that bad?
Ah, that was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. But before we go, I would like for you just to share some words of motivation to a young girl that's watching, maybe that's out there, that feels like, life is too hard, life is tough. Just encourage or motivate her. Yeah.
I think it's important to refuse to be a cut flower that withers away. Sink your roots deep in the ground and hibernate when you need to. Good. Recharge And when the sun shines again, and I promise you it will, come out in all your glory and bloom.
Love it. Thank you so much, Matapa. We are so blessed to have you had shared your story and your journey and just your words of wisdom and golden nuggets that we will definitely remember and hold on to. And yeah, just thank you so much for who you are and for sharing your life with the rest of the world, with the women that you come into contact. You're always so open. You're always so giving. And you are girl's girl because you literally take someone's hand and you welcome them in. And that's what I felt when I first met you guys after I won. That's something that I really felt from you especially. And thank you for that. Thank you for making space. Thank you for making room and making us feel comfortable where we need to be. And all the best on everything that you're going to be doing. I know whatever you do is going to be absolutely excellent because that's who you are.
I receive it and I send right back to you. Thank you
very much. But thank you and we'll chat soon.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for watching another episode of Grit Factor. I hope that you feel inspired and empowered. And remember, grit is not about perfection, but it is about your truth. It's about rising again after you fall. As Maya Angelou said, still I rise. We thank Matapa so much for her time. And if you would like to catch up with Matapa, you can follow her on all social media platforms. We'll see you next time on Grit Factor.